Well, good morning, everybody. It's Monday mornings with Matt and Kevin, except, well, it's not. Matt, unfortunately, is ill. We were just saying last week that it's just amazing this time of the year that one of us is always sick. So we rarely get a chance to do shows together because I was sick and now he's sick. He sounds actually pretty rough. He sounds like he's really having a rough go with the influenza. So please, everyone, if you could spare a prayer for Matt, that would be awesome. It sounds like legitimately rough. So hopefully he gets through it fine, quickly, and without too much pain and trouble. Because as I'm sure pretty much everybody knows, these things can really truly not be much fun at all. So today I'm going solo with it. It's going to be a pretty short show. I just kind of wanted to come on here and answer a couple questions that people have had for me, give a couple updates, and maybe kind of chat a little bit like we used to do back in the day, back in the day when I had a little more time. But a couple of questions that people have asked lately, or comments, I suppose. One of them is, why do we have sometimes immoral commercials on YouTube? Why are there commercials for, I don't even remember what it was. Someone was commenting, I don't remember if it was Masonic or Jewish or something like that. And it's like, really, everybody, I really truly wish I had some effect on the YouTube commercials, something that I could do. I can't do anything at all. I can, when I monetize a podcast, which I don't do for all of them, I do for some, it means that I can kind of pick where the commercials are played, but otherwise, nada. There's nothing I can do. It's literally just YouTube wanting money, right? They get money from advertisers, and so the only way to get out of that is if you get a premium membership and then you pay for it. So just how it is. That's the business plan. I don't like it, but it is how it is. And I know people want me to get, the content out on these podcast platforms, and I promise you I try. It's just so time consuming and I just don't have the time. So again, as I've said many times, if anyone wants to offer to do it, I could probably pay a tiny bit of money. Um, and it would be great. It would be great to have every single podcast on these other podcasting platforms. I mean, we used Podbean, which then sends it to Pandora and Spotify and all these different places, and that's great. I totally get it that people like that better because they can listen to it in the car. It's just one of those things that I just don't have time. That's it. There's no other reason, no other excuse. That's it. So it's one of those things that maybe I'll try to make it, more of a thing that I try to put at least the big ones on there. Um, but as everybody knows, it is very on and off again. And so again, if someone wants to offer, I would very, very, very gladly take your help in transferring the YouTube videos over to Podbean so that they can go up on these platforms. So that's the first question people have had. I've had a couple comments saying that. Sorry, guys, I don't have, excuse me, I don't have any say over the commercials. Second one, this is kind of a strange one. I've had, I think, 3 or 4 people now email me or comment about the Indefectible video. So we did Indefectible 4. And I think many of you, most of you have seen it already. It's fantastic. My dad spent so much time on it. I think it's a beautiful work of art. There is one picture in the end. Again, if you've seen it, the last, 10 minutes or so it's just a collage of slideshow, whatever you want to call it, of churches, traditional Catholic, Sede Constant churches throughout the world. And I've had several people email in and mention that the church, I believe it's supposed to be the church in Rockville, Minnesota. Sorry if I get that wrong. Anyway, there is a church, and the picture of the church has a Novus Ordo table, with a book on it. And, clearly that's the wrong picture. I'm not sure if it's the right church before the CMRI took it over. Either way, clearly the CMRI does not use a Protestant, service table, whatever you want to call it. It is just unfortunately a picture that got through many, many editings that we just simply missed. We didn't see it. You guys have. So clearly we need to get some of you guys over on our editing team sometimes. But that is what it is. I mean, the big thing to know is that is clearly not a traditional chapel at that point. Maybe it became one. That picture is not a current picture of a Sede Vacantis chapel. So don't worry about it. We need to well, I think I keep forgetting to do that. I'll add an asterisk on that video to say that is clearly just it's the wrong picture. But it's one of those things I think people are like, you should go in there and change that. It's like, I don't think people understand what it takes to edit a video once it's published, especially if you got to take it down and edit it and put it back up. You lose all the views, you lose all the likes, you lose all the algorithms. If you edit it in YouTube, you could probably do that, but then and that's maybe what we can do too. But then you tend to get kind of choppy, and I don't know. Anyway, just so you guys know, we are aware of it. It is a mistake, but it's not the end of the world, in my opinion. It is just kind of what it is. But thank you for pointing it out. And again, it is not a current traditional chapel, so no worries about that. Again, we mentioned today, or I should say Sunday, yesterday, a video in a video that I did that we're going to do the Lent around the world. Just to bring that up one more time, we are going to do Lent around the world. That means we're accepting videos from people that will record, or not video, I should say audio, people recording segments from material for Lenten type meditation readings. It can be Imitation of Christ. It can be The Day Christ Died, something like that. Needs imprimatur or the approval of a priest. We love getting these from around the world. We've gotten it from Australia, England, Africa, etc. So please, if you're interested, email me, kevin89davis@gmail.com. Should be very easy and truly a beneficial way for you to contribute to the channel and to contribute to people's welfare. I really, the welfare of their souls. It really is a beautiful thing that we greatly appreciated that we did a couple years ago that we're going to do again this year. The last note is, I mean, I couldn't really decide what else to talk about. Excuse me. As you see, I'm still kind of sick myself. And I think one thing I wanted to ask was to ask people again. Maybe you can comment. What kind of content you want to see more of. It's one of those things that we do our best to provide a mix of content that works for everybody and that everyone can enjoy at different times. If it's mothers or fathers or single people or priests, even we want to give God glory. We want to give people good entertainment, and we want to be enjoyable. Matt and I we talk about things that we think people are interested in, and they might talk about around the table, and that's kind of our goal. And so the question is, what do you want more of? And we did one with Mario Dirksen, who's obviously amazing. He's one of the best guys I know, the best at what he does, no question about that. And it's kind of bashing the R&R position, and gets a ton of views and tons of comments and tons of likes, more than anything else we do. Deservedly for him, of course. I mean, again, he's astounding. But it's pretty harsh. It's something that's not a beautiful side of what we do, of the faith, and showing what we have rather than what someone else doesn't. And so there's a reason why we don't do that all the time. I totally think it has its place. Again, I wouldn't ask Mario back if I didn't. I think it definitely has its place. And, it kind of stokes the fire of people really trying to understand what is the truth. And hopefully when that stokes that fire, they go and look at the teachings of the church fathers. They look at the encyclicals, they're trying to understand what is the truth. Where are we right now? Where is the church? Is there a pope, etc.? But again, we don't want to do that often because it's just dreary. It's harsh. It's hard. And it's necessary, but it's not what we want to do all the time. We're not the Diamond Brothers, guys. So, but we do want to know, what would you like more? I mean, I love my mom's content. I love the Saints content. I know not everybody does, but it's genius stuff. I mean, it just is. I mean, I don't know. I know some people appreciate it and listen to every single one. And props to you, because you understand that what my mom does is something that I truly think is, what's the word? It's not revolutionary, but it is a truly unique grasp of how to portray human and you know, and supernatural stories, of the saints, but doing it in a way that is truly graspable, that we can truly understand, that anyone can listen to those and love the saints better. So that's when I mean, you really should listen to these. They're so good. And it's like, Thomas on Saturdays, his readings of Our Lady, beautiful. Ladies on Thursday, the commentary, on the women's podcast. It's good stuff. So what I want to know again from you is, what do you want more of? And I don't even know if I can provide more of anything, but we do want to know. We're always looking to provide more. And I know something that people always ask for is more interviews with priests, and I couldn't agree more. It's just tough. It's tough to get the priests because they're so incredibly busy that that's kind of the hardest one. But I am always working on it. I need to work on it more. It's true, because I love those more than anything too. Doing them for myself, I mean. So we'll work on that. We'll try to get back on the track of getting more and more priests on. There's a lot of things I want to talk to Father Benedict Hughes about again, of the Samurai. He's not been on for a while. Absolutely one of my favorite interviewees. There's so many priests that we haven't talked to. I mean, someone was mentioning the other day about talking to Father Gregory Drayman of the Samurai. And again, he was my teacher in high school. I have a enormous respect for him. I would love to talk with Father Gregory. Um, just even hard to contact. It's just one of those things. These things they're easy said in a Facebook comment. They're hard to put into practice. So I hope people appreciate that. Anyway, let us know what you want us to talk about, because that's we are here to entertain, I suppose. We do have an audience that we want to be generally happy. And yeah, again, in comments too, please let us know. Yeah, criticism is fine. What I like is criticism when you actually point out, hey, this, like, specifically, this is the problem. What I don't like is when people go to Mario's in my podcast and just say, you guys are wrong. Wrong about what? You're just wrong. Michael Matt's right. You guys are wrong. Okay, expound on that. Give me more. Well, what are we wrong about? Tell me. We've talked about a lot of things, so what are we wrong about? They won't do it. So if you critique, give me what do you not like? If you don't like me and Matt talking politics, okay, say it. Doesn't mean we'll stop, but I would like to know. Yeah, I would like to know. Or maybe you want more politics. We have some stuff coming up. This is really interesting. We want to do a video or two or a series that will start and probably only be up for a couple weeks or a month or so, only on Patreon. So for our supporters on Patreon, we're going to have content that will probably never make it to YouTube, that will be talking with a professional microbiologist, a PhD level microbiologist. So you can imagine some of the topics we're going to cover, and you can imagine why we're not going to post them on YouTube. So if you're interested in these types of podcasts, go over to Patreon and support us. Truly, you can do it for $1, guys. I mean, again, I know you don't need to hear me asking for money. $2 a month from followers. That's awesome. That is awesome. I mean, I really, truly appreciate that. If you can give more, awesome. But $2, I mean, just think about it. Right now we have 6,000 something followers. If you get $2 a month, imagine what we can do, what we can build. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, my parents want to do all these trips to Ohio and to Boston and to Mexico. And these things ain't free, guys. They're just not. I mean, I would love to go down to Italy. Maybe go. I mean, I don't know if it's possible. I haven't asked them, but go interview the IMBC priests, who I greatly respect. Again, I don't know if they had time or the desire, but I would like to ask. I'd like to be able to. So again, there's a reason for these things. And again, I know some people out there think that it's because we want to go on a nice vacation to Italy. No, sorry guys. I can tell you, $2 a month is not going to send me to Italy. I actually have 3 other jobs right now, or 2.5, I suppose. So again, if you can, do that, because Patreon is going to be pretty hopping here, I think, in the next weeks. That is the plan, at least. And there's going to be some pretty fire stuff. And I'm going to give a little bit of a hint that Father Stephen McKenna might be involved which I think you guys can all imagine that it'll be some pretty good material. Um, yeah. Lastly, I mean, I don't really have that much to comment on about this, but it's just one of those funny things. I don't know if anybody noticed this. Now, I don't really follow the news much. Sometimes I watch podcasts of people that I don't trust, but I mean, people I think are vaguely kind of not totally biased, not idiots, and not shills, etc. So I mean, decent. So that's sometimes how I get the news. Honestly, I just don't really get much news these days. Um, and so I very rarely go on to Fox News, like ever. I mean, really, really rarely. Like if Matt and I are like, what do we talk about? Sometimes I'll go on Fox News, and I went on Fox News today because I was like, okay, what am I going to talk about? I don't really know. Don't really have any ideas. Um, so it's like, okay, let's just check out Fox News. And it's just like, there's nothing there, man. There's nothing to talk about. It's just unbelievable. And it's like, and there's some sad stories, murderers have been found and, soldiers killed in Syria. I mean, some sad stuff. I mean, you see a story of Joe Biden wearing his work hat backwards, but some of the top stories, it's like, you know, deranged climate protesters throw soup on world's most famous painting, the Mona Lisa, which is pretty interesting. I don't know how they even got that close to the Mona Lisa, but anyway, the Mona Lisa is obviously covered by bulletproof glass. It's not like someone's actually going to mess up the Mona Lisa with soup. So it's a stupid story. It's just like, I mean, I think it's just, I don't know. Is that fueling the culture war? I suppose. There's a story here. This is. Let's see. This is 8 stories from the top. Okay, and be a little careful on Fox too, because they often have very inappropriate pictures. Unbelievable. It's just like, this is a news site. Why am I having to look at half naked women? Talk about the world we live in. It's unbelievable. There's another reason why I don't go to these channels. But anyway, the 8th story, and it's got a picture of Braveheart. And the title says Dragon Repellent. The subtitle says Home Depot is selling medieval weapons and the internet is losing it. Cool, I guess. I mean, it sounds. I mean, I did honestly almost click on it, so you see why they do it. But it's like, wait, what? This is the number 8 story on Fox News? The one before that is Costco shoppers membership card habit called annoying by employees. That's the number 7 story on Fox News. Is there nothing else going on in the world? I mean, am I just crazy, or are we like in La La Land? Are we like in this world where like actual news, things that are actually going on that might interest people? What's going on at the southern border? I don't see a single thing. I mean, and as far as I've heard, it's almost like war on the southern border. The governor of Texas is like sending in troops to like defend against federal troops. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone tell me I'm wrong about this, but this is what I understand from what I've heard. And that's not even to be seen on Fox News. I don't even see it. I mean, for sure, not before the stories about Costco membership cards and Home Depot dragon slaying material. What is going on? Maybe it's just Fox News being dumb. I mean, that is certainly possible. I mean, I think that's sure, but it just blows me away. What a dumb world. It's just like, I mean, especially with media. I mean, we get so hooked. I mean, how crazy are we? We get hooked on our phones, social media. We get hooked on our phones, and you're scrolling through. And I dare anyone. It's actually something. Maybe I'll do this after the show. Go on your Facebook or your Twitter or Instagram, whatever it is you use, and I'd say scroll through 20 posts. And tell me, how many of them are relevant or important or life changing, day changing, minute changing. I mean, the good thing is that I guess you can, and some people probably have. I mean, like on Facebook, I mostly have very traditional Catholics. I have priests, and so there is oftentimes Catholic material. So that's a good thing. But when you're not, I mean, like I recently popped on Twitter to start a Twitter, not for myself, but for the channel. which is actually now defunct because we're actually going to start another one that my parents are going to run. But anyway, I popped on, and obviously I didn't have any followers or follow anybody. And so you just get the basic stream of posts, and it's totally ridiculous. I mean, insane. It's totally insane. And what you can tell is they're just trying to throw anything at you and seeing what you're going to hesitate for that 1 second before scrolling down. What are you gonna wait for? What is that one thing that you're gonna see? Maybe it's immodesty, right? Maybe it's war. Maybe it's explosions. Maybe it's someone falling on their head while doing skateboarding stuff. I saw all of this stuff. Crazy clips or internet hall of fame or again, half naked people. What are we doing? Man, and I know again, I do know that that's the extreme. I understand that you can make it so that your channels are better. And I know that because eventually once Twitter and Facebook understand that you mostly just want Catholic material or, good stuff, GK Chesterton quotes, then that's mostly what they'll filter through. But just imagine that to get there, you have to get through all this muck. And you have to not hesitate, right? You have to scroll through immediately, or the algorithms are going to say, oh, this guy hesitated for half a second on this half naked picture. And then they'll send you more. That's how this stuff works. It's disturbing, to say the least. And it's something that you just, you wonder, think about it. They always ask you that question. Okay, if you could spend 1 hour with someone of the past, who would it be? And boy, it's an interesting question. I don't really know. I mean, Pius X is one that I think I would love to have met him. And so if you think about St. Pius X, okay, so he miraculously comes to life today and comes to my house and sits down with me. And he's like, what's life like right now? Well, I got this thing that I carry around with me and I can contact people, but I don't actually use it that much for that. I mostly just watch stuff. Oh, what do you watch? That sounds interesting. I don't know. Depends. Some of it's good. Some of it's bad. Some of it's really bad. What would he say? Do you read books anymore? Do you know how to read? What's the last book you read? Was it good? Was it beneficial? Did it help your soul? And I'm not saying, it's one of those things that I think, you talk about these things and it sounds like, just get rid of the internet. It's terrible. It's not terrible. I mean, if you listen to the last few of these encyclicals that we've had from Pope Pius XII, they clearly show that technology can be used for good. It's a tool. But we're fallen humans. We generally don't use tools for good. So I guess that's the question. What are we doing? What are we doing with our time? Did we read a book? And for me, I can tell you, I tend to put these things off and say, oh, Lent's coming. Now I'm going to fix all my bad habits, And it's what it's there for, I think. I mean, Lent is there to give us that kick in the butt where we really have to, be more penitential. And it's amazing. It's like, God and the church are pretty wise. They're pretty wise in what they do, forcing us to be harder on ourselves and to sacrifice. But you still have to wonder. And I know after the show, I'll still go onto Facebook and look around and see probably nothing. Probably nothing. But it is good, I suppose, to keep up with people to see what's going on. I mean, it's not all bad. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, but it is interesting. I think it is something that I think is worth thinking about, and it's not worth. And I think it's again, it's something that I've done in the past where it's like, okay, it's evil. I'm just gonna quit it forever, and I did that with Twitter, and I'm glad because Twitter is a cesspool. Twitter's, ugh. But all social media or all phone, I've done that in the past, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Cutting it cold turkey. But I think again, as we've talked about so often on this podcast, the biggest thing is to think about it. Don't just do it. Don't just go with the flow all the time, because this is what we do. I think really try to consider, okay, do I want to spend all my day today on the phone? Do I want to ignore my family because of my phone? For nothing. For nothing. No significant material. Now, if you're listening to the Catholic Family Podcast and ignoring your family, then I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Listen to it with your family. See, this is the solution. Anyway, okay, I'm done rambling with you all. I really appreciate you sticking around. Again, please say a prayer for Matt that he feels better. I literally just got a message from him. I don't know what it says yet, but it means he's still alive. So that is definitely a plus. We hope that he'll be back next week, though. With such a bad case of influenza, I don't know. But if not, then maybe I'll try to get a guest host so that you don't just have to stare at my ugly mug and listen to me talk the whole time. So again, I appreciate you all. Please comment the critiques, whatever you have, and go over to Patreon. Find us on Patreon. We're going to really try to give you guys some stuff that no one else has. Really, there's good. I mean, I haven't done these podcasts yet, but I'm super excited. It's going to be, I think it's going to be some really good stuff. And it's going to be from a professional who really, really knows the material. So stay tuned. That is hopefully coming. Again, I guess we haven't done it yet, so watch it all fall apart and you'd be embarrassed. But so far, it looks like it's going to happen, and it should be really good. So go over to Patreon, sign up for $1, totally fine. And yeah, we'll see you guys there. And hopefully, we'll see you next Monday with Matt again. Monday mornings, Matt and Kevin. Till then, God bless you.